Republican Congressman Mike McCaul, chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee, is joining us today. Thank you for being with us, Chairman.
Thank you, Harris.
You know, this began, I would think, as just rhetoric from that Democratic primary here in New York with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democratic Socialist. And then it seemed to catch fire. Why did that happen within the Democratic Party? And do you think that this is the move to shut it down?
Well, I think the Democrats have gone way to the left. You know what's ironic, Harris, is that less than a year ago, I had an authorization of ICE to authorize ICE into law last July. It passed overwhelmingly with nearly every Democrat voting for that measure, including Nancy Pelosi and including the author of the bill to abolish ICE. Now, in a complete reversal, they're talking about abolishing ICE. We want, as Republicans, want to call them out on this. Because ICE does a lot more than just what we see at the border with these children. You know, ICE stops dangerous murderers, rapists, human drug traffickers, and potential terrorists. It was formed after 9/11 to protect Americans from very dangerous people. We think it's reckless to even talk about abolishing this important national security agency.
Well, it's interesting learning about that legislation that we knew somewhat about, but being reminded of it from just a year ago, where Democrats like Nancy Pelosi were, in fact, supporting the legalization of ICE at our border. But, you know, this is going on in their party right now, the Democrats, this shift left. We really started seeing it in 2016. I don't know if Hillary Clinton could feel it, but it was shifting left with Bernie Sanders. And so now you've kind of got an organization, or an agency rather, that's caught up in the hairs of what they're trying to do to save their own hides across the political aisle.
I think it's a very dangerous political game that they're playing right now. When we look at, you know, as chairman of Homeland Security, I know what ICE has stopped coming into the country. Secretary testified on average, we stop on average 10 terrorists a day from getting into the country, not to mention the MS-13, the human trafficker, the opioids, all the bad stuff that they try to get in the country. ICE stops that. So the idea that we're going to abolish this agency is very reckless. I don't think the American people support this. It's about a 70-30 issue with the American people. And one last thing, Harris, when I was a federal prosecutor after 9/11 doing counterterrorism, the way we were able to deport a lot of potential terrorists was working with ICE and our immigration laws when we couldn't prove the material support for terrorism.
Oh, that's fascinating. I want to give you the last word on how life changes if this doesn't go through and you cannot protect ICE.
Well, we think this resolution is going to pass. It's supporting ICE, supportive of the mission of ICE, and denouncing the Democrats' attempts to abolish ICE. And I hope that the bill that we passed, as I mentioned, in the House, that's just sitting over there in the Senate, I hope the Senate will wake up and pass this authorization of ICE that nearly every Republican and Democrat voted for last July, including Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, so 100% on, you know, the recognition that we need ICE, and that's what this does. It'll be interesting to see if it has any pushback on what Democrats are trying to do and make this a campaign issue. Chairman McCaul, always great to see you. Thank you for being on the program.
Thank you, Harry.